We are really happy, Luba and Marie-Jo and myself, and on behalf of all the team of Eduniversal and all the scientific committee members, to have you with us, because it's true that we are really missing you, all. And for us, each year our convention and the different events we are attending are a very important moment for us, because it's helped us to keep really in contact, in touch with you all, and really it's important for us to know what is happening in your business schools and how you and your students are living all these important moments. So we decide, with the help of the scientific committee members, to create these new sessions in a really lively way, to have like a free moment to discuss and to meet, not in a very formal way, but so really feel free to take part. We have three speakers, outstanding speakers today, but feel free to react, to share your ideas, to ask questions when you want. So this is the 7th coffee talk, and it's about how still to grow in this challenging time. It's a huge topic, and Virginijus KUNDROTAS, member of the scientific committee from Eduniversal since the beginning for Eastern Europe, is going to lead the session and have a talk with Iryna and Dalius, but really feel free to take part in this exchange. We are here to help, so if you need information, if you have special questions, just ask Luba and Marie-Jo. So you can, to participate, raise your hand, and we will give you the floor, and or ask or give comments on the chat. So that's it for the moment. We have one session each week. So we hope to see you again in the next sessions. And just a few information about the convention. The convention is going to be online in the same way as last year, in the 3D platform managed by Virbela and Laval Virtual in France. We are working on the activities, because we really want this convention to be an engaged moment, and having you participating, not only listening. So we are preparing some important surprise about that. And the first one is that we want the meeting sessions be able to start before, but because we know that only 3 days it's complicated really to meet all the people you want, and perhaps it will be better for you to have the opportunity to manage it in a different way. So we will start next week for the people registered for the convention to open a special platform for you, using a magic tool to identify schools that have the same expectations as yours, the same objectives concerning their partnerships, and you will have the opportunity to start with a video tool to manage your meetings. So you will receive more details about that, but I want to give you the first elements about that. So thank you for sharing this moment with us, and I give the floor to Virginijus.
Thank you very much, Cecile. Good afternoon, or good morning, or good evening, dear colleagues, depending where you are, depending on your location. It's a pleasure to see you here on this special coffee talk thing, and I like the name and title and idea of that coffee talk, because we really can have coffee together, and as I do have. So if you already took your coffee, that's fine, so you can enjoy, and at the same time to discuss and analyze and talk and share some ideas which could be useful for all of us. And today, as Cecile already mentioned, it's a great opportunity, because we have two representatives, presidents of the two prominent institutions from Central Eastern Europe, and they would share their ideas and experiences, how to still grow and develop and be very successful in this challenging time. And I would come back to them in a second. Just I want to once again, to put a idea, and that all of us, but now we are living for the second year, we're already living in the huge change. It's the biggest change in 21st century. So, and then we have that change when we definitely needed, to rethink the way we are doing our business, how we are acting, how we are proceeding, what is happening. And usually in that turbulent time, it's becoming very clear, but some institutions, they are not capable, they are not managing that properly, and they are just disappearing, some of them. Some of them, they are facing very difficult, big difficulties, and they are just, trying to survive. And some institutions, like our two participants are here today, they are even more growing than in usual time. So, and it's always very interesting, to get out. Of course, for each of them, it could be different kind of recipes, principles, criteria, but we did successfully in order to do that. But it would be also a possibility probably to gather some kind of commonalities, which all of us would be able to use. That's why we today, first of all, we would like, very briefly to share with audience. I would ask both speakers to share a little bit about the institution, what we've been doing, and then we would discuss. I have a number of questions to them, but also you probably have questions to them. So you, as you said, you either can write down or you can ask yourself raising the hand. So, and let's have that very lively conversation, and I hope we would be able, to learn something out of that. So, so as I said, we have two prominent speakers, and as usually, ladies first. So I would like to first give the floor to Iryna, President of Kyiv. And as I always say, MIM Kyiv is probably the best executive education institution in management in Ukraine, and probably one of the leading in the regions. So Iryna, could you just share a little bit about with our audience, about your institution, and then we would discuss things.
Thank you, Virginijus. Thank you, all of them. It's a great honor for me to tell you about our experience, to share our experience and our ideas. Speaking about MIM, International Management Institute, we were founded in 1989. It was the times of Soviet Union, and we were the first business school in former Soviet Union with MBA program. Our first MBA program was in 1990. We were lucky because one of our founders was International Management Institute Geneva, and that's why our name, International Management Institute Kyiv. And we have even one Indian brother, like in series, International Management Institute Delhi. And I met their representatives on Eduniversal convention. And because International Management Institute Delhi was founded in 1988, 1 year before us, again, International Management Institute Geneva. But like in Indian series is lost Indian brother. We cannot cooperate with this institution. They always find other ways not to cooperate with us. But we work from 1989, and in 1990, it was merger of two Swiss business schools. One of these Swiss schools was IMI Geneva, and they created IMD. So we have the same roots like IMD in Lausanne, and we have the same business model. We are independent. We are independent. We are concentrated on executive education. We haven't any master's program. We have relatively small MBA program, and we don't want to make this program very large, but we would like to make this program very good, the best quality, and we have a lot of corporate programs, and we have a very good connections with corporate world. And because we are first in the former Soviet Union, and we have a very good parents, noble parents. We have a very good international connections. We have more than almost 30 years of cooperations with Carnegie Mellon University, with IMD for sure, with Stellenbosch Business School, not so long, but it's very important, and with SAPES. And for sure, we are the member of European Association, FMD, BMDA, and we have very good, a very important partnership with our closest neighbors, and we have. And this year we start our operations in Asia, and I will tell you about this a little bit later. But I would like to say that we are the first international business school in our region, especially for Ukraine, Belarus, and Moldova. We are the first, and we try to be really international. And that's, I would like to move forward for our ideas about how to grow in this challenging time. I would like to tell you about 3-hour projects. One of these, we hope that we launch this project in next May. And we did a lot how to launch this project. And this is really international project under the umbrella of BMDA Association, Baltic Management Development Association. The other one is project, we call this exporting knowledge about our activity in Central Asia. And the last, it's about the inspiration. Once on our BMDA board meeting, we think how to create, how to do in this very challenges time in new normal. And we decided to launch the new program. This program about management, inspiration, leadership, and how to combine all these managerial skills, leadership skills, knowledge about leadership. And we decided to create the program in YOTS. YOTS, like practical skills on YOTS and leadership lessons, knowledge, leadership classes maybe. So the participants will be in Turkey. In next May, we have very limited quantity of participants, not more than 25. It's because we have YOTS, and they spend some time on YOTS and some time in classes. And they will discuss based on Adizes methodology, they discussed the problems of leadership, and then they will have practical classes on YOTS, and they will feel the problems of leadership, the importance of some leadership tips, and because in practical life, when they will be a team and they will have make a decision, quick decision like in business, but practice on YOTS will help them to live this managerial experience in very unusual and very important situation. It will be 24 hours in class, and then every day they will have practical classes on yachts, and they will have a reflection. And we are sure that this program is absolutely they design in according the demands of our current time, because it's about the inspiration, how not to burn out from one side, from the other side, it's about knowledge and leadership, how to be the leader in our time. The second, our project, which was very unusual, very unexpected for us, but we almost 1 year we live not only in Ukraine but also in Tajikistan. As you know, Tajikistan is very far from Europe. It's country in the Central Asia. It's not the rich country, it's one of the poorest country in this region. And as I checked, any business school from Tajikistan participates in Eduniversal. And I think that we don't see the members from Tajikistan in Eduniversal convention, because there are no business school in Tajikistan. And if you visit Tajikistan, maybe it's like car of time, because it's like for our country, it's like 20 years before. They have very few banks, they haven't supermarkets, they have only markets. They have very poor knowledge of English, but they would like to understand business and to create business and to learn a lot. And for us, it's like 30 years ago, the Swiss business school helped us to organize business school in Ukraine. For us, like the new opportunity to help Tajik people to create business school in Tajikistan. We have 2 projects in Tajikistan. We have connections on the very high level. Maybe you see this is like this is a forum. I participated in some forum in Tajikistan, and it was on the governmental level. We signed memorandums with governmental agencies. And I hope that on the 28th of October, we will open the educational center under the umbrella on Tajinvest, investment agency of Tajikistan. And they created like training center, and the first training center in Tajikistan will be opened, I hope, on the 28th of October. And this is a huge victory, because we help them in every aspect of operational life, from how to organize the schedule, how to prepare faculty, how to communicate with participants, how to design the premises, what kind of premises they will need. We organized a 6 months program. like train the trainers, because we organized the special program for trainers who will work in this training center. And this is very challenging project. And we think that it's project only for 6 months. Now this project for the year, and it's a project financed by German donors, by GIZ, but now we have separate project in Tajikistan, which is financed by World Bank. The third project, this is financed by USAID and so on, and our activity in Tajikistan become larger and larger. But we don't think about the International Management Institute Dushanbe. No, no, it's not our goal. But our Tajik friends always suggest us to open the MIM in Tajikistan and Dushanbe, but it's not our goal.
Iryna, because it would be very important. We have many questions to you, so we need
yes,
to take time
this is yes. This is the last our international forum facing the future. We started this forum 3 years ago. We celebrated our anniversary. The keynote speaker was Yuval Harari. It was very good organized. It's not its mistake. Participants was 1,500. Last year we will have forum facing the future. The keynote speaker was Michael Porter. It was devoted to competitiveness. It was 800 participants, but participants were from more than 20 countries, from Vietnam to States, from Norway to South Africa. It was really international conference. And we have speakers from 7 countries, and it was very good. But this year, we organized offline forum facing the future, and we created like inspirational, facing the future inspiration. We combined the modern paintings, fashion, theater, and music, and how this music, fashion, theater, and paintings could inspire manager in our time. And it was very interesting, absolutely unusual format, with fashion show, with paintings, exhibition, and music concert in the main building in Kyiv, in capital, Ukrainian house. And I think it was very good, because how to find the resources, how to be health, like managing, like person, and how to create something. And I think that this is very important. And we always told that our strategy based on 3 pillars: international innovation, internalization, innovation, and integration. And we add the 4th pillar, like inspiration. That's all. And thank you very much. And I am ready to answer your question. Thank you.
Iryna, thank you very much. I'm sure the participants have the questions to you, and I have these questions as well. So it was very interesting to see that in this difficult time, you've still been looking for the new products, for the new markets, for the new inspirations. And so we'll come back to the task. How did you succeed at that? So if you could close now your presentation, because I would like to go to Dalius, and I would like to give the floor to him. Because as Iryna said, MIM Kyiv was the first private or the new business school in the territory of Ukraine. So ISM University of Management and Economics, what Dalius is it's the first private management university in Lithuania. It has been established in '99, and so far, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Dalius, you would say, it's the only private management university in Lithuania having all degrees, you know, so undergraduate, graduate, and PhD programs on international level. So it would be very interesting to hear from you, Dalius. So floor is yours, and welcome.
Thank you, Virginijus. First of all, of course, it's worth noting that Virginijus is standing in the at the start of his university, and for many years he has been president, and this is basically still very well felt at ISM, this initial stage. The beginning of ISM was also, and many years together with BI, Norwegian Business School, which is a reason why ISM has, as we like to call it, the Scandinavian DNA and style. As Virginijus already announced, we are a private university here in Lithuania, and we have all typical university products. So we don't focus only on executive education, but we also have a bachelor degree, bachelor programs, bachelor studies, Master of Science studies, PhD studies, and of course, next to that, we have executive school. So a total of a bit below than 2,000 students on campus. We have one campus in Vilnius currently, and despite the fact that most of our students are coming from Lithuania, we also have a growing number of international students, and all the study programs are offered in English, in undergrad and graduate level. Part of our study programs in executive school are also in English, and part are in Lithuanian. So I will not keep you too long in explaining what is ISM about. You're more than welcome to come in and have a look at our website, where you will find a lot of information about all different things about ISM. I would just say that we consider our purpose as being one step ahead, and that we understand in two main ways. First is moving one step ahead every day, so it's something that is keeping the momentum, and the second is, of course, being a step ahead, but not in a sense of being a step ahead of other universities, as you might naturally think, but we like to call it being a step ahead, closer, one step closer to the future, right? So it's very much driven by the future. This is how we see our purpose and mission, okay? So the question of the discussion was how can we grow in the times that are well, first of all, unprecedented and also very much related to changing and uncertainty in the environment. So I would say that what helped us to stay growing in this environment was building on our key strengths and doing things that would allow us to become stronger in these areas. And for ISM, key strengths are quite simple. Well, first of all, being international, then being individual, then being close to business, connected to business, and being modern. So we kept on growing all these areas, and I think that is the main thing that helped us to stay around. During the pandemic, we took a decision to be proactive rather than reactive or waiting. Okay, so I think After 2 years, waiting is not an option for anyone, but in the beginning, there might have been some players in the market who chose to sort of wait it out. Yeah, so wait until it goes by and then we return to the normal. We didn't choose this way. We said, okay, we don't know how long it's going to take. Therefore, we need to continue with our strategy and taking a step ahead. So we worked on our portfolio and offered a list of new programs in all levels. That, to our mind, helped us to stay relevant. So I will just give you an example. In Bachelor, we introduced a new program for entrepreneurship and innovation that was prepared together with some business partners, which included fastest growing startups, startup companies, including Unicorn in Lithuania, as well as venture capital funds. So that was done to cover the fast growing part of ecosystem, of business ecosystem, which is technology companies. And we have a very fast growth of that sector here in Lithuania. In master level, we introduced a new program, which we called Global Leadership and Strategy. And that was primarily offered and directed towards people who do not have a management background in their undergrad education, however, are looking for an executive career in international companies and fast growing companies. So it showed to be quite successful. We have collected students. We have had a good interest in the market for both these programs. In executive education, where we try to be even faster and more relevant, we introduced a few different products. One was about organizational resilience, which was, I think, very spot on for pandemic. Then after that, we introduced communication for leadership communication, which is again very important topic for managers at the moment. And finally, we introduced digital transformation. All these are part of our Master of Management program, delivered in the 3-month-long batches. So it's like a half a year project for anyone who wants to study. And actually, for this autumn, we have fully booked classes in all our modules. So it showed to be quite relevant for the market. And what we see, at least clearly with executive school here in Lithuania, people take lifelong learning seriously. Okay, so if before pandemic, it was a kind of a choice whether I believe in lifelong learning or I believe that I already know everything. So today is not a choice. It's clear that lifelong learning is a new normal, and we try to keep our pace to offer enough products on that. And the last thing that I want to share about portfolio is that we introduced also new products for educational sector, so for public sector. A renewed program for school managers, and that is again quite successful. We have a lot of interest from school principals and not only school but also kindergarten principals who come and study management, as well as we introduced a course for economic teachers. And actually this connection to schools and teachers is very important for us when we are looking for future students, okay? Because often universities don't like to go into schools and wait for students to come in and find universities themselves. However, especially with management, you have to create an interest earlier in the school. Otherwise, this would not be a natural choice. Yeah? So that's how it works, at least for us. A couple of words on individual. Well, first of all, a lot of emphasis on well-being, mental well-being of students. So a lot of individual sessions. We have psychologists who are available for consultation throughout pandemic, and that showed to be very popular as well. So it feels like we are supporting our students and staff as well, faculty. And then, of course, much more individual attention within the study process. Okay, so with more difficult subjects, such as statistics, mathematics, we felt that we need to put more emphasis, and this is what we have done by providing more individual hours for our students, and it is appreciated. And the last thing from my side, what was important during pandemic, it still is, because it's not completely over. This situation is still very volatile, is staying connected with the community. So we used all possible ways to do that, both live as much as our situation allowed, also remotely, and community in a broader sense. So with our students, with our faculty, with our alumni, and with our schools partners that also were supported from our side by providing video materials, providing remote lectures, etc. So remote events and live events such as graduation were something that we put a lot of emphasis on, and also a lot of energy, and it paid back because the community was feeling together throughout this difficult time. So that's a brief overview, and I hope I can answer more questions later.
Thank you very much, Dalius. Thank you, both of you. And actually, both of you have been talking about in this difficult period of time to think and work on the new products. And Iryna and Dalius have been mentioning a number of new programs, new products, new services that you've been created. You also been talking very clearly about moving to different markets, like Iryna moved to Tajikistan, and Dalius entered, educational market, with the ISM, and so that's important thing to do, and also these inspirational things. But listening to you, I got one question, and I also would encourage participants to write down or ask the questions if you would come, and don't be shy and to asking these questions. But for me, the question came from the event which we had last week, and last week we had the 19th annual BMDA conference, and we've been talking about is the world really burning out? So how to fight with that phenomenon of burning out, because when you have a lot of the change, you have a lot of stress, and at the same time it's very easy to get burnout as individual, as organization, as industry in general. So, and during that conference, the chairman of our conference, very well-known dean, former dean of Kellogg, INSEAD, and current dean of CEIPS, he said, in order to be successful, you need to keep feet on the ground, and you need to have eyes on the horizon at the same time. So, and it's not easy to do that. And I would like to ask you, both of you, and as Dalius finished, probably I would ask him first, and then Iryna. So what helps you at ISM and at MIM to do that, to balance that, to keep feet on the ground, and at the same time to think about these new products and ideas, and etc., and at the same time to be very relevant, as Dalius said, so it's not easy to combine these things, because they require a bit different things. What do you think it helps for you, for your institutions to do that?
Well, I would come back to the last point that I have made, is that staying connected with community. I think this is a number one reason to stay relevant and tool to stay relevant, because by communicating both internally and externally with businesses and with other stakeholders, helps you to maintain this short-term, long-term balance. Because that's, I guess, the meaning of is saying that keep your feet on the ground, which is maintain the short-term operational stability, and keep your eyes on the horizon, which means maintain the long-term strategic outlook. So if you only close yourself internally, then you might drown yourself into this operational burden and lose the strategic perspective. If you only go out and look for new opportunities, you might forget about this keeping your feet on the ground. And for that, at least what my impression was important to have a frequent check-in. Okay, so frequent check-in internally, for instance, with the management team at ISM, we have weekly check-ins, so weekly meetings where we discuss things operational level, and with all the community, which means faculty, administration, all employees of university, once a month. Okay, so we have a online, most often the remote meeting, but still dedicated to share information and to collect all the input and feedback and questions, right? And then we work with that to build. With businesses, more events, more meetings with the help of technology, but again, to stay as possible, as much as possible relevant for the long-term outlook. So I would say this was the recipe. It still actually continues to be. And some of the things that we introduced during pandemic, we will definitely keep for the future as well.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much, Dalius. I think you said one very essential thing, because very entrepreneurial institutions, we're always looking outside, they have good connections with the community, with the business, etc., satisfying their needs. But also, as you said, it's very important to develop some kind of managerial routine inside of the institution, to have continuous meetings and discuss and not to leave these people. You already mentioned about the students, but we are supporting them and helping them, etc., but also faculty members, administrative staff. So for them also needs continuous communication, as you've been doing programs for outside, but also for us ourselves in the business schools. It's very important, to keep that and do that on the permanent basis, and to have a certain system. So thank you very much for that insight. Iryna, what is happening for you?
For me, it's not something unusual. We were founded in 1989, and after that was collapse of Soviet Union, and after that was economic crisis, and after that was world economic crisis at the end of 90s, and after that was the revolution in Ukraine, and after that was the second world economic crisis. And after that was the second revolution in Ukraine. And now we live in the times of war, 7 years of war. So COVID for us is not such a lot of crisis, such a big crisis. We always live in the crisis. So we have all managerial procedures. We have a very good team. We work offline during the whole this crisis. We have the online classes, but the staff work offline. Now we have 100% vaccination, all our staff, so we can, under the Ukrainian legislation, we can work offline, so we can organize offline classes. And we have very good team in MIM. I'm not alone. And we have a very good community. And it's interesting for us. We I can show you, this is the bottle of water, and this is our private label, MIM. And one of our alumni, he suggested us, and now we have the special private label of MIM. Water. Then suddenly, once a day, I came to MIM, and one of our alumni, he is the owner of one of the largest in Ukraine socks factory, socks. So almost all the MIM now have the socks with label, MIM label, with crown. And after that, we decided that we even open the internet store because we have a lot of some different goods with from our alumni who is ready to create something with MIM's logo and to enhance maybe our brand and to distribute their goods. And it's interesting, and this merge was created during the last year. And Virginijus, if when you come to Kyiv, we'll present you socks with MIM's logo, for sure. And Luba, you too. The socks is waiting for you.
I'm looking forward to
With
that.
pleasure, Iryna. But most of all, I'm waiting to meet you and to meet your wonderful team. And I will never forget my trip to Ukraine when when we were invited for the forum that you organized 2 years ago. You have a lot of things to be proud of, and it was really great experience.
But following this idea about entrepreneurship, and following again, the topic of our last week conference about burning out, you are both very entrepreneurial and innovative leaders. I know you from previous activities, etc. So you're always full of ideas. But in this fast-changing environment, it's very difficult for the leader to get burnout. So what did you do personally? How do you empower your team? Because sure, you gather them, etc. So how do you delegate certain things and empower them to make decisions, and but they would feel fine, to come up with new ideas? Somehow, Dalius already mentioned, yeah, sure, you have these everyday meetings, but during every week meetings, but what else do you do in addition to that, but people would feel also accountable for different ideas, suggestions, etc.? Any thoughts in that direction would be very
I'm sorry, Virginijus, I want to use this opportunity and also to ask my question. How do you find the inspiration?
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned today, I have a talks with my management team today, and I told them about our activity, operational activity. And I told them that it's impossible to do the business, to lead the business from 9 to 6, from Monday till Friday. The business will be successful if you will feel that this business, your own business, you will live with this business, and you will try to do all the best for this business. And in MIM's history, always the leader of our institution was the person who thought about our institution like about his own business. And that's why I think that I try to collect the best team. We try to pay them well, and I always try to support any initiative. if they want, I support. And now, if you will come to me, you will see the absolutely crazy desk. It was created by our marketing department, the young people, and this is the LED desk. All you need is MBA. When I saw this desk, I always think about the bars in United States, in like Western cowboys and something like that, because it's all you need is MBA. But the new generation, they like it. And in our very classical academic premises, now we have this crazy advertisement, all you need is MBA. But I'm sure that me as a president, I have to support them in their crazy ideas. And then again, we have one of piece of art, I am meme. And this is like a huge letters, I am meme, and everyone who wants came to these letters and then can write something about meme. And this is the place for Instagram and meme. And I think that this is the masterpieces of COVID time. But I think it's very important, and I always try to support my team. And about the inspiration, Luba, Tajikistan for you will be a huge inspiration. It's unbelievable experience, especially for blonde women. It's amazing experience, and I think it's very unusual, very inspirational, and very. It's a Muslim country on the border with Afghanistan. And we have one council project because of Talibs. If Talibs were not in Kabul, we will have the project in Afghanistan next year. But now it is postponed. But
you're probably lucky, but it's time too early. But Iryna, what I heard also from what you've been saying, that you're also getting inspirations from the ideas of your team. If you are making and supporting the ideas, so you were seeing what they've been doing, the new ideas are coming. So
yes, I mentioned about that. We have a very good team, and we have a community. We have some ideas from community, like SWOT and SOX, and we have ideas from a team. And we have, among our team, we have the people from different ages. We have professors who works for me more than 30 years from the very beginning. And from other side, we have participants who were born in 2003, 4, not 4, but 2000, very young. And we tried to combine, to join them, and different ideas. But I think the team and community is very important in this time.
Good. Thank you very much, Iryna. Dalius, what could you say from your side on the empowerment of your team and people?
Well, I guess what was needed and still is needed is a continuous discussion about the context. Okay, so context is very important. That uncertainty, when things are changing very fast, it's difficult to comprehend the context alone. So you need to discuss things. And even though most of your discussions is connected to something you don't know, still discussing it helps. Then second thing is coming back to your goal, okay, to your direction. So when things are getting out of hand, it's easy to stop and freeze and forget about your direction, or try to think about a new direction. However, what is usually the case, the direction, the sense of direction needs to be even stronger than usually. So this is done by talking about it, by reminding yourself about it. And still, despite how difficult the times are, the result is a big inspiration. So when you try something and it works, that's what's inspiring. And maybe in times when there are more things changing around, you need to be focusing on shorter term results. Okay, so what is good result for this week? What is good result for this month? What is good result for this remainder of the year? And then not to forget to stop and tell thank you to the team and each member, and of course for them to be able, for us together to be able to celebrate these results and do it often, because that gives a sense of stability in this fast changing environment. Whatever is possible to take out of it in the sense of stability, more stability, I think it's a good thing. So you know, context, direction, and results. This is very simple.
Mm-hmm. Dalius, I wanted to ask you a particular question. You are coming to this position from business. You have a huge CEO experience behind. So how did it help you in this position of rector, president of the university?
I think one aspect that it helped is that I am not insider. So I started 2 years ago, and after roughly half a year, the pandemic hit. So I didn't have this habit of what is usual, you know. So it was still very new. So if there is yet another new thing, then it does not surprise me that much. So it's not there's no old habits, so to say. One thing, another thing is coming from business, and especially from retail, where I spend also some time. Things are changing very fast, so you have a very dynamic environment, and that also helped in this situation. And third thing, I would say, whenever I speak about new program or new corporate training or new product, I can still very much associate with the client. Okay, so I think this is very important for any industry, and for education industry as well, is to focus on the client and the definition of the client. I know that sometimes in academic world, it's not regarded as something you should focus on, the client, because even some older generation academics, they say we should not call our students clients. I still believe we work to help the client to become better, and that is very high purpose activity, and we should be proud of that we are actually working for our clients, for them to become better at management, better at their careers, better people in general. So remember, keeping the client focus also is something that I believe is help in this work for me.
Thank you so much. I cannot agree more with you about the client attitude. You know, customer orientation is always very, very important. Either we are in the business or we are in especially management education institution. Dear friends, dear colleagues, you know, our time is going to the end, and I am giving you the chance, you know, to ask, you know, to our guests and speakers, you know, maybe you would like something to ask. Because if you would not use the chance, we are going, you know, to slowly, you know, to round up things what has been said. And so, any questions, remark?
Perhaps one of you want to share some projects you have built, some things you have changed during this this period, as Dalius and Iryna explained. It's good to know more, to have more precise, more examples. It's really useful for all of us.
Are you asking, Cecile, you know, what kind of projects we or things we did differently from the in comparison to the previous time?
Yes, my idea is why inviting the others schools that are here today with us to give an example of a project shortly, only giving few words to share to give us another example to show how they innovate and how they react, could be building new programs. But because we've been talking about that in previous coffee talks, perhaps is changing or putting the priority in some new pedagogical tools, or changing the way or managing the programs, or well, so feel free to share with us these examples.
Okay, yeah, Dalius, Iryna.
Well, I think I would love to hear from other people. So I think
yes.
This is what was the idea. So thank you for raising this question, because now I would love to listen to other people's examples. So if you guys have anything, please take.
I can say that we all change a lot of our mode of teaching. Now all of our classes we organize in flex mode, and all of our professors teach some participants in class and some participants online, and we invest a lot of technology in equipment, in education of professors. And after this year, we know that we are absolutely another school. And this is very important for us as a school, because we invest in equipment and in people, in education of professors. We haven't any whiteboards in classes, only interactive boards, and we all our classes in flex mode.
Any other ideas to be shared?
I don't know.
Well, I will represent my university, Virginijus University, which is the International Teaching University of Management and Communication. We are quite new. It's just 2 years. We have gained the authorization, unconditional one, for 6 years. We're proud of it. So about this pandemic situation and managing the change, which was really uncertain for us as well as for you all. So we just thought that this was like collapse at the beginning, because we were new. We had all those marketing campaigns in 2020, and we were planning to have newcomers in September, and all like the whole world collapsed. Then we just quickly decided to change our way of thinking, to look at our stakeholders and how to manage all this situation. And we just decided to use, let's say so, use this time for developing new projects, because it's like a gap. The whole year was a gap. And the good thing in this was that we had not anything going in the university, like no academic year at all. So we just used this advantage that we did not have to focus on our students, and we have lots of time to develop our program. So we just we just made a new.
Nadia, you got muted.
Oh.
Nadia, you got muted.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. And then during the whole years, we developed new programs, and as a result of it, and online and offline work, we have now about 70 students this year, which was really like unimaginable because we were like very new one with no programs, with no marketing campaigns at all. So as a result of hard work, we now have students. We have 2 active programs and also some new programs being accredited and coming soon. So like it was an advantage of this very hard year that if you just, I think if you manage this change, like what is useful for you, and if you use time like what is mostly what has to be done, then everything is okay at the end. So we are hoping for new programs, new students, and with the help of our wonderful partners, and dear Virginijus, you are here, one of our huge partners, and Adizes Graduate School, which by the way, we have an executive MBA program with them, and this is the pilot year, and we are hoping to start it soon. With our dear partners, we are like a new university with great ambitions, and we are hoping for the best. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nadia. Any other ideas shared? If not, I believe, but we still need to keep the timing, and what I would like to say at the very end. So first of all, to thank both Iryna, Dalius, and everybody who's been participating here for sharing your ideas. What you've been very clearly pointing out, but in order to grow in any time, so you need to focus on the today needs. You need to think about the future needs. So for that, you need to have inspirations and look for the partnership, etc., and create something new. But at the same time, you need to have some kind of systems, as you already mentioning both Iryna and Dalius, but you need to have some kind of formats, how you are delivering, what are you doing, different kind of certain type of systematic routine. And plus, what was very important, and Dalius was mentioning that especially, you also need to have a very clear work with your people inside of the organization, with faculty, staff, students, helping them, informing them, putting them on that purpose, but they would be together sharing these ideas, and that they would become, like Iryna said, their own institution. But that would not be just one person ahead, who is only thinking about all these things, but the whole team thinking about that. And in such situation, if we would be able to do that, then we would be able to cope with any changes which are coming. And I would like to end up this meeting with the words of Peter Drucker. I like that what he said once. He said, the best way to predict the future is to create it. So that's what you all been doing, and I wish you good luck in doing that further down. And always you are welcome, to share these ideas and join Eduniversal convention, which is coming in November, where you would be able to hear from different kinds of institutions as well. So thank you very much for all participants, and have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Have a nice
Dalius.
afternoon.
Bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Virginijus.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.